Welcome back, and once again, thank you for trusting me with your full spoiler movie reviews. That thing I do where I see movies and then I tell you all about them. As always, I am unpaid and unsponsored, but it's full spoilers, all the spoilers. Spoiler. However, I will also tell you this time, this is just a historical film, sort of. I think. So there's not actually anything to spoil. You can read Wikipedia and it's nothing not already known. But if you really don't want to know, go ahead and scroll. Alright, here we go. So tonight I did the scandalous thing, and for my second film I saw JEANNE Du Berry. And I chose to do this over The Fall Guy, but let me explain why. So first off, ultimately, I chose to see this over The Fall Guy tonight because this was a one-night film event. This was the only time this was going to be playing in my theater, which I didn't realize until I got there, and then I was wondering why the ticket to this was significantly more fucking expensive. Luckily, I had a free movie ticket on file, and I used that, but I still had to pay $4 on top of it. But it was one of those Fathom events. Anyway, the reason I chose this one is because, again, it was the one-night event. I was like, okay, I'll go see this, and I can see Fall Guy on Tuesday. But also, the scandal is that this is the first film that Johnny Depp has done since the Amber Heard lawsuit. And then the director, Mae Wen, if you don't know who she is, she played the blue singing lady in The Fifth Element, went on some kind of interview and said that the whole set was scared of Johnny Depp. And there was a whole lot of speculation until sometime, I think it was last week, that they were oh, when I say they were scared of him, they meant by they were overwhelmed by his star power. He's a very commanding presence in the room kind of thing. And everybody's I can't really side-eye like this, but you get my point. Now, as to where you stand on all that, do as you will. I'm not here to make you feel one way or another. I, however, wanted to see what was going to happen, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. But let's get into the actual movie. So first off, this movie is completely in French. This is a French film. I have no idea whether Mae Wen is French or not, but Johnny Depp is not a native Frenchman. He does, however, play King Louis XIV, who is the King of France. But it's not fully about him anyway. So it's about Jeanne Du Berry, she was born a commoner, and she rises up as a courtesan. She was a prostitute, and then she was taken in by the king, and she became the king's favorite until he died of smallpox. And then she was run off the castle, and she had to live in a convent for a year, but then she had to leave past that. And then she had her head cut off alongside Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI. That's all you need to know. They had a lot of sex. Now, was it a good movie? It was better than Napoleon. That's not saying a whole lot, but it was better than Napoleon. Still not as good as Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette. It is, however, a little bit different because, usually in those movies, Jeanne Du Berry is kind of seen as sloppy and slutty and just not a very good human being. Whereas to this one, she's very well read, she's very well spoken, she's very sweet, that kind of thing. It's as pretty as the Marie Antoinette movie. The script isn't that great. Oh, and I need to let y'all in on something. I do need to address something that was put in the film. Now, as to how historically accurate this was, I couldn't tell you. But you should probably be warned. Louis does, in fact, gift Jeanne Du Berry a enslaved child from, I think they said it was Bengal. So that's the whole thing. Do with that what you will. So did I like this movie? I wouldn't watch it a second time, but I'm still glad it wasn't Napoleon. 5 out of 10? 5 out of 10. Okay, bye. Voulez-vous coucher